Our other big story tonight: in just 1 week, the Billings community will be voting on a handful of issues in the municipal election, one of which is the $143 million Parks and Rec bond, which is said to help fund 16 projects throughout the city. We will be discussing some of the reasons this bond has the city divided. Travia Forte joins us right now in the studio after speaking to people that are on both sides of the Parks and Rec issue. Travia, what are you hearing?
Well, John, people against the bond tell me that they can't afford to have another increase to their tax bill, especially when they feel as though the Parks and Rec bond is more of a want than a need. Now, for those in favor of the bond, it's an opportunity to improve not only our parks, but the city as a whole. Now, earlier, I spoke with Sandy and Bob, local Billings residents, who say they're speaking for the seniors and everyone else who was fed up with the amount of taxes they pay each year. Now, Sandy says she agrees that the parks need to be improved, but forcing the burden onto the taxpayers is not the solution.
I want this to fail because people cannot afford it. And it's totally wrong to even bring this forth at this point in time when insurances went up statewide, taxes have gone up. We just got our tax bill. People need to read what's on this tax bill. If they don't know, it's time they learn because it's important. And this is what we're paying for, and we're still paying for it.
Now, Sandy says she would feel slightly better if the $110 million recreational center was not attached to the bond. But either way, Sandy feels as though the additional tax would be too much money, especially for senior citizens and those living on a fixed income. Now, Dick and Andrew, who are in favor of the bond, say the rec center could improve the impression of the south side of Billings when it's built adjacent to Amond Park. Now, Andrew says he's excited about all the amenities that will be available, including a gymnasium, a fitness center, 2 ice rinks, and 2 pools. Andrew adds that he understands the financial concerns, but feels this bond is an investment for the city's future.
The taxes will increase, but it's one that comes with a termination. So when this bond is paid off, those do fall off. So it's a little bit different than our property tax that we're all reeling from. So we feel it too, but in light of that, it feels like a really great investment for those advantages I listed.
Now, both gentlemen say that the improvements to the park and the rec center will help with public safety and provide an area for indoor sports and activities for the entire community to enjoy all year round. Now, voters, you have until November 7th to make a decision, fill it out, and return your ballots. John, back to you.
All right, Travia, thank you very much for that. If you live in Billings, you're likely painfully aware of the construction that's been taking place along the rims on Airport Road for the better part of a year now. As Rin Wanworth reports, the construction is part of a larger project, one that could benefit from the Parks and Rec bond on Billings residents' ballots.
I'm standing here on the nearly completed Skyline Trail, one segment of the proposed Marathon Loop, which aims to link existing trails together and literally connect the Magic City from one end to the other. When completed, the loop will be just over 26 miles, or the length of a marathon. The city hopes the Marathon Loop will offer residents and visitors of Billings an easily accessible and safe way to visit some of the most prominent parts of the city. And according to organizers, the creation of this loop would be a feature totally unique to the city of Billings.
The ability here are our opportunity to have a place where you can be on a trail along the Yellowstone River, and then you can also later on that same trail be up on the rim rocks looking over the city. I mean, it's really fantastic to have that varied terrain and kind of scenery that you can have in one city just by traveling in different parts of the trail. And I think that's part of our excitement with just completion of the Skyline segment, is that people even coming out of the airport, you know, would be able to go right out there and now have this area where they can look out over the city. There's going to be information up there about the city and about the trail system and stuff. So again, just drawing people to those areas and also having them aware that it's an opportunity that they have if they come to Billings.
The Skyline Trail along the rims is still under construction and is estimated to be completed by early 2024. From there, approximately 3 more segments are left to complete the loop. The first segment up for construction would be called the Stagecoach Trail. which would connect the end of the Skyline Trail at Zimmerman Road down to an existing trail system on Rimrock Road. A grant application for the Stagecoach Trail from MDT is currently being processed. The application needs required matching community funds, which Friday says he hopes would come from the Parks and Rec bond that Billings residents are voting on. He says approximately $700,000 from that bond would go directly to the grant application and bring the Stagecoach Trail and the Marathon Loop one step closer to completion. As the voting deadline draws nearer, city officials hope residents will support these types of plans for growth and development that will allow everyone to experience Billings in new, magical ways. Ren Wadsworth, Nonstop Local.
All right, Ren, thank you very much. And one more time, we want to remind you, Election Day, Tuesday, November the 7th. It is an all-mail-in election. There's going to be no polling places open. You will need to drop off your ballots in the mailbox in the next couple of days or take your ballot to the election office downtown.